Today is Friday, July 24th of 2026. So this is our monthly community meeting of the Johnson County Affordable Housing Coalition. We host these primarily every month on the fourth Friday of the month in partnership with partnering agencies. You'll see later today we are going to hear from the Mr. Ian Cawley over at Houses into Homes. I do want to also acknowledge we couldn't do these without our key sponsor of Hills Bank. So thank you, Hills Bank. Every month, I take a couple of minutes here just to be able to tell you kind of what we've been up to here at the coalition. I get to serve as executive director, which means I get to direct most of the outreach education programs and projects here at the coalition. I see that Liz is here on the call today as well. If you haven't had the opportunity to meet Liz, Liz is our new outreach and education coordinator for the coalition. So she will be taking on a lot of the programs and outreach that I mentioned today. But we are very, very thankful that Liz is able to join us. Going through the community updates for July, just this last week, we hosted an Iowa housing legislative update in which Senator Walz, Representative Zabner, and Representative Levin attended to talk about the last General Assembly and what we predict for the future in the state of Iowa when it comes to funding at the state level, but then also policies and regulation that get put into Iowa code. It was a really well attended event, and we continue to host these annually just to make sure our members are up to speed on what is going on at our state capitol. End of last month, we also hosted a manufactured home community residents leadership academy in partnership with the Iowa Manufactured Home Residents Network and with the University of Iowa Labor Center. This had residents from across the state of Iowa attend a half-day symposium about how to best organize and come together within maybe their own park associations or community associations and really come together to advocate for their own rights and benefits within that halfway home ownership opportunity of manufactured homes. Candy's on here, who is a great organizer and co-leader of the Iowa Manufactured Home Residents Network, and I think she would state it was a really fun day over there.
It was a great day. I think we had great participation.
Absolutely.
With the new park being bought, I think it opened their eyes to what we can do if we work together.
Absolutely. So we are going to continue doing resident advocacy. You can see that in the program and projects section with the Iowa Manufactured Home Residents Network. We do have a community organizer hired, Yaneli Canales, that has been helping us drastically with not only parks here in Johnson County, but in other areas of the state as well. We have been partnering with the United Way of Johnson and Washington counties to fulfill some strategic doing sessions related to affordable housing. It is one of the key issues that the United Way is focused on and other community groups as well. Housing is where jobs go to sleep at night. Housing is where children go when they're not in school. Housing policy reaches to all of these other sectors. So there's been significant investment of time by the United Way and also ECI-COG with their funding for doing some strategic doing sessions. This is a cross-sector collaboration that has invited for-profit, government, and nonprofit leaders to come together to mainly do and get stuff done. I'll show you briefly later that one of our strategic planning groups is hosting an event in just, in just a few weeks here in the beginning month of August. And I will put that on the screen here in a second. We will be at the county fair. Yes, we will be taking those jumbo Legos that we take to different events to set up, to advocate for affordable housing in partnership with the Housing Action Team of Johnson County Livable Communities. You will see us in the air-conditioned building. Yay, air-conditioned building. I know. When you've done nonprofit work or government work before, not getting that would be terrible. So jumbo Legos and regular size Legos will be there for advocacy efforts and outreach with fairgoers. So hope to see you there. Tuesday is Kids Day, just so you're aware. If you got kiddos, bring them on by. We also have been partnering, Liz and I, to do RentWise with a few of our partner agencies. We just wrapped up completing RentWise, this tenant-based education program. It's an evidence-based program that helps people stay housed or housing stability overall. We just completed it with UAY, United Action for Youth, and their maternal childhood homes. It was a really great experience. Nothing like teaching young folks on how to protect their rights and their responsibilities around renting while also holding a child on their hip. It was an amazing time. So if you have a program or an agency that you wish us to bring RentWise to, please reach out. I know we are working with Catholic Worker House in Escuchimivos in order to do this in Spanish. And then we also just recently partnered with Community Crisis Services with some of the folks that they serve in the food bank. So stay tuned there. I'm looking at my other screen. I promise I'm focused on you guys, but it is another screen here. So just bear with me as I talk about putting together a Robert Wood Johnson Foundation grant that would directly benefit residents of manufactured homes. This is in partnership with Johnson County Public Health that we are writing right now, and fingers crossed that we can get this. It's about really bringing health equity into action, and it would look at environmental health concerns of manufactured home communities. It's a great opportunity that we've been invited to apply for. I've been working with Cole Cruz, Sam Jarvis, Lisa Pathrow, and others that are over at Johnson County Public Health to have a collaborative grant process for this that I think could really help our residents. We do statewide work here. I serve on the Iowa Housing Partnership Board, which is very, very much like the coalition, but a statewide entity. The only difference there is they actually have a paid lobbyist as well. So we will be working forward on hopefully some stronger protections to manufactured home residents, expungement for evictions, increased funding or at least preserved funding for housing initiatives from the Iowa Finance Authority. If you or your agency has any direct advocacy work that you would like to bring forth to our representatives and our senators, please let me know. We work with a lot of really great folks up there in the greater Des Moines area. Iowa City, the city of Iowa City is going through their comprehensive plan process in which a few of us on the call are part of the steering committee. I know neighborhood stabilization, redevelopment, rezoning, all of that needs to go through the comprehensive plan process. It really is the guiding doc for cities to set standards for the future, allow them to make code changes and maybe bring in some additional programming or incentives to our area. If we are wanting change, we have to speak up now. So I believe at the coalition, we will be hosting some listening sessions or at least some sort of community engaged efforts related to that. So stay tuned on those emails in partnership with the city of Iowa City. Last project and program that I'll mention today, because I think I could go on and on about all the different things that we're doing, but it's really this incremental development alliance that we're working with Johnson County PDS staff on. Sarah Thompson has really been leading this up, and so I want to give her a shout out. Incremental development is a methodology in which smaller groups, maybe groups that don't want to be commercial builders or developers, but just local folks wanting to do good, coming together and building on maybe one empty lot, maybe renovating one building for housing and a commercial tenant. It is really small scale development that is meeting the needs of the community in which they are placed. We are going to be working with the Incremental Development Alliance, which is a nationwide group that does a curriculum series and workshop that will be, I believe, throughout the month of October with some combined in-person and some online opportunities. As this goes forward, again, I will keep you in the loop. And you'll definitely be seeing us as the coalition really, really pushing this out because we want more building, we want more housing, we want stronger communities. That sounds of interest to you, make sure to follow our social medias. We have both Instagram and Facebook, and then also our newsletters. If you haven't signed up for our monthly newsletter, please do so on our website. And then I always have a request for every single meeting because, you know, you are all paying dues members of the Johnson County Affordable Housing Coalition. This one is pretty amazing. It's actually just to ask you to celebrate with us. We have now been in existence for 10 years. We've made it, guys. We've made it 10 years. And so we are inviting everybody on September 24th to join us at the Englert Theater and see the progress that we've made and hopefully the vision for the next 10 years when it comes to housing that is affordable in all the municipalities of Johnson County. This will be from 4 to 6 at the Englert Theater with our traditional programming. We also have a band this year. We'll have a silent auction. We'll have hors d'oeuvres. And then following will be a social setting and a networking opportunity in the loft area above in the Engler. So mark your calendars. You're going to see me post this 100 times on our social medias, but we really want people to be able to attend. Our founder, Sally Scott, some of you may know her, is actually flying back from Baltimore to attend this event and have some words for you all as well. As we do with every year's annual meeting, we will also be honoring our Housing Impact Awardee. So that individual will be giving the keynote presentation, and I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. You'll find out later. As I promised, I definitely said this was that working group that we have with United Way of Johnson and Washington counties. This is that building partnerships, creating solutions, and expanding housing opportunities luncheon that will be hosted over at DCI Group, their new facility that used to be in the Pearson building off of North Dodge Street. As Ian starts to introduce himself, I will pop in the registration link in the chat for both this and the annual meeting. So you'll just be able to easily click on both. Both of those events are free. You don't even have to be a member of the coalition to be able to attend either of them. We just wish to have more people involved in the conversations related to affordable housing. So with that, I am going to allow Ian to share his screen. I promise I am good at Zoom sometimes, because we always invite one of our partner agencies or somebody that's related to the affordable housing realm to talk. And I have been working actually quite closely with Ian on a couple of different projects recently. And I really think that their mission over at Houses into Homes echoes a lot of the mission that we have here at the Affordable Housing Coalition. So with that, Ian, I can see your screen. You are good to go. Thank you.
You can see it all right? Okay, cool. Can you hear me okay? All right, cool. Well, thank you, Jessica, for the invitation today to come and speak with the coalition. I'm very grateful. Thanks for everything you do, your leadership in Johnson County as well. Thanks to everyone joining today. I'm excited to come here and talk to you guys a little bit about furniture poverty, what the work that Houses into Homes is doing, and how it's connected to affordable housing. The scope of the work that the coalition does obviously is very broad. The scope of work that you the advocacy and direct service in some cases is a wide swath of the community that fall under what is affordable housing. Today's discussion, where I'll be sharing about furniture poverty, which is something that primarily impacts really the most vulnerable members of our community, those mostly just recently housed, so maybe coming out of an acute crisis situation, a period of homelessness, a health crisis. We'll talk about some of the things that maybe lead to a situation where somebody does not have furniture and household furnishings. But that's who we are primarily serving as Houses into Homes. So you guys are kind of, or at least the broad work of affordable housing, you could say, is kind of laying the groundwork and creating this environment where hopefully more and more families and individuals are getting keys to a new place and kind of feeling that sense of belonging and security, either again or maybe for the first time in some cases, that comes from closing the front door of a new home from the inside of a place when it's yours, when it's the place that you live. I can't speak about and definitely can't do all of the systemic work that goes into creating that environment. I'm sure glad that a lot of people on this call and Jessica are involved in that work of getting more and more people housing. Where my expertise lies and what I'm here to talk about today is what often happens next for those most vulnerable in our community after they get the keys to a new place, which is they had that feeling of closing the door from a house or apartment for the first time from the inside, and maybe turn around to let out a sigh of relief, and the sigh echoes back to them, bouncing off of bare walls and empty rooms. At the individual level, if you think of someone who's either unhoused or coming out of a crisis situation and moving into a new place, if every available resource that you have is tapped into or from support from either agencies or other community support. If it takes all you have to come up with first and last month's rent and get into a place, then what often happens then is you're in a situation where you don't have a whole lot of possessions. The things as basic as a mattress or a microwave, a table. Then that feeling is often tempered. That feeling of relief is tempered by the question of, well, now what? So you have a very fundamental and large barrier to thriving is removed from getting a home, having a place to live. But there is a big barrier to thriving that remains in a lot of cases, and that is filling the house up with things. So today I'm going to talk about what furniture poverty is, and how is it even tied to affordable housing? What's the connection there? Because we're not talking about the walls, we're talking about what goes into the house. So we'll talk about that. So we'll talk about the prevalence in Johnson County, and I'll give you some raw numbers kind of nationally to give you some context for the problem. And then I'll give you a lot of information about what we're doing locally and how we're doing it to address this. And then I'll also share something that I'm really excited about, some local research that we have done and kind of where that came from that tells us about the impact of what we're doing and how it does improve housing stability generally. And then I'll share some easy ways to help houses into homes if you are so inclined. We are proud to be members of the Affordable Housing Coalition. Jessica, I'm very sorry I don't often make it to these meetings, but I'm glad that we are. I'm able to talk to you guys about it here today. So okay, for me, I didn't really say up top. I'm Ian. I'm the executive director at Houses into Homes. I have been that for about a year and a half. I started at Houses into Homes 2 years ago. I left a decade and a half sales career in the midst of kind of a midlife crisis, I guess you could say, 2 years ago to join Houses into Homes. And at that time, for me, the anecdotes and just my own intuition about the work that I knew Houses into Homes was doing kind of gave me the conviction that I needed to take a leap and make a pretty drastic change in my career path. I knew that Houses into Homes had an incredible impact. And one of the many ways that I knew that, I'm just going to share one quick quote. I promise I won't do a whole lot of anecdote-y stuff, but one that was in the Houses into Homes newsletter about 3 months before I started, and I think of as one of the many things that when I read, that made me say I need to work there. Like this is what I want to do because of the impact that it has, and that I'll just share that briefly. From a recent recipient who we had served at Houses into Homes. These are not just material things. They bring light into my life and they make me feel surrounded. I read that and my life changed. I said, yeah, I want to do that. I want that feeling. I want to bring that to people. So I didn't need a kind of a standardized academic definition to allow that change in the course of my life. And that's good because the truth is that at that time there wasn't really a standard definition of furniture poverty in the United States, at least not really. There are a few furniture banks, and that's the work that we do. We describe ourselves as a furniture bank, taking in donated furniture and then giving it back out. There are a few furniture banks in the United States that have been around for decades, but by and large, most are less than 10 years old. Like Houses into Homes, we're 8 years old, so just a little bit younger than the Affordable Housing Coalition, but we are 8 years old, and that is between 5 and 10 is most of the furniture banks in the U.S. fall into that category. So because it's kind of relatively maybe unresearched or just not as much awareness around this problem, there is no federal or state level recognition of furniture poverty. Home furnishings pretty much never appear, not never, but very rarely appear in things like housing program assessments, in funding housing funding assessments as well. And part of that is there wasn't really a standard definition. So that last year we are founding members of a group that's called Furnish Together. It's a national coalition of furniture banks, just founded almost exactly a year ago, actually. There are 72 of us in the coalition, and one of the first things we did was get together and agree on a standard definition that I'll share now, because this is what we use as a sector, as a furniture banking sector, and that is furniture poverty is the inability to access, afford, or maintain essential household furniture and goods for a functional, safe, and healthy home. So that's the definition that we use in the furniture banking world. I'll quickly share some of the kind of national findings. One of the other things that this coalition did at the beginning, and is still in the process of doing, really, is some national surveys. So surveys of furniture banks themselves. So some of it is self-reported information, and then we commissioned just a broad national survey about the experience of furniture poverty, and in that survey we found that based on that definition, there are 19% of people in the U.S. are currently experiencing some level of furniture poverty. That's not all empty houses. That's not all. Sometimes you have a mattress but not a table. So within that definition, there are a lot of different scenarios, but 19% currently experiencing furniture poverty, and then 1 in 3 have at some point in their life experienced furniture poverty. So this is a broad problem for sure. And it's a problem also in Johnson County. So this is the national information, but you'll see Johnson County, some local data as well. Some of the most common situations that lead someone to this experience of furniture poverty is cited by furniture banks: people exiting homelessness, households with lower incomes, larger households, fleeing domestic violence, young adults, especially aging out of foster care, and families who have faced eviction. So that's just sort of intuitively, it makes sense. This is the people who are experiencing furniture poverty, and this is also true here in Johnson County. And then I'll just briefly share some of the national data. Again, a survey that was, in this case, Wider Circle, which is a furniture bank in the Washington, D.C. area, just did a study of their own recipients, people who were about to receive furniture, and found some of the same kind of intuitive ideas of like what happens if you're sleeping on the floor. Well, you're going to have body aches, trouble sleeping, of course. Many children who struggle with homework, unable to relax, a lot of stress and anxiety. So a lot of things that come from not having a full house. So we know it's a problem, and luckily here in Johnson County we have some problem solvers, which was 2 of them started Houses into Homes 8 years ago, to try to more comprehensively address this problem. So Houses into Homes, I won't go really deep into the history. I said 8 years ago it was 2 people who learned of a student in their school where their kids also went to school who that was sleeping on the floor, and thought, well, that shouldn't happen. We should, like, this is a community that should be able to provide a mattress for a student who doesn't have a mattress. So they got that sorted out for one student, and really it just kind of blew up from there, you could say. I mean, but then they sort of became known as mattress people, and then learned, like, oh, there's all these other students at Horn Elementary, in this case, was where it was first making the deliveries, and very quickly realized that the need was wide. It's difficult to address furniture poverty. So there was kind of a patchwork of different scenarios, but there was a big gap to fill. So our mission, we just updated this this year. If I read our old mission statement, that would take up the whole presentation because it was way too long. This is our mission here in Johnson County, is to transform empty living spaces into safe, comfortable homes by delivering essential furnishings with unconditional positive regard to people in Johnson County. And we have a vision of a future where every neighbor has fully furnished and comfortable home, where resources are shared rather than wasted, and where community members are empowered to enhance one another's lives. So it's a bold vision, but it is one that's grounded in the work that we are already doing, that we have already been doing for 8 years. And I am, of course, very biased, so you can take it with a grain of salt. But it's become clear to me through the work with Furnish Together that Houses into Homes is an exemplary organization within the world of furniture banks. We're one of the best at addressing this problem. And I have some numbers to back that up. And I have some pictures here too. I'll show you just really quick. Before and after picture this was from last year, a project that we did for a transitional housing space in support of Immigrant Welcome Network, setting up some homes for immigrants to live in right when they first come to this community until they find their more permanent housing. So this was the before picture of the living room, and then using donated furniture and volunteer work, because we're a nonprofit, so it's donations and volunteers by and large. We turn the living room into that. We take the design work that we do pretty seriously. In this case, we were able to just kind of go nuts with it. There's a lot of times, most of this, when we're furnishing for a specific family, we are doing this in consultation with the family, asking about style preferences, color preferences, so that it becomes a home, so that people can thrive, so that there is more housing stability. So this is just a brief example of the work that we do. I'll give you some numbers here quick, so that you have an idea in Johnson County how widespread the experience of furniture poverty is. So last year, calendar year 2025, we delivered 743 beds to 1,240 people in 422 households. So we're delivering to, this works out to almost exactly 8 households per week that Houses into Homes is delivering to. While you're kind of taking that in, I will share since 2018, so the cumulative numbers, the same numbers. So we've delivered, just recently crossed over our 4,000th bed delivered, excuse me, to 7,000 people in 2,300 different households in 8 years. So it's a lot. And a lot of times, a question we often have when I share these numbers with people is where are these houses? Where are 2,300 households that don't have furniture? And the answer is everywhere. The answer is when you drive home today, wherever you're driving home to in Johnson County, you'll drive by someone who is experiencing furniture poverty. I am quite certain of that statement. And I can show you here the map we have a map of 3 years of deliveries, 2023 to 2025, just to give you a picture of this. This is it exists all over the metro area, as much as you can call Iowa City a metro area. It's in every neighborhood. I'm particularly proud of this map. We weren't able to share information like this for a long time, out of concern, of course, for sharing information, like identifiable information. This is I am not a geographer, but we hired someone who was a geographer, hated her job, so came to work at Houses into Homes, much like I did, but had the skills to do this. And so these are randomized dots within a census block group, which I have been. It means nothing to me. Maybe it means something to you, but I have. It's been described to me as neighborhoods, so roughly neighborhoods. But we randomized the dots within. These aren't actual homes, just as an FYI. But this is just to show you that it's all over the place. This isn't one concentrated area that we're doing this work. And then just really briefly, I'll share some basic information about what we provide. So when we say furniture, this is where we are differentiated from a lot of places doing this work in the complete the thoroughness of what we do. Sometimes when I'm doing these talks, if this were a House into Homes commercial, which I don't want it to be, but then I would read all of these because it is pretty impactful to read through everything that we provide, all the kitchen items, all of the decorations, bathroom items, the kind of the basics in a home. But you can just kind of glance over and get an idea of when we say that we are serving one of our recipients, we are serving them for sure. We're doing real work and moving a lot of furniture to make these to fill up homes. We have just a very rough estimate of what it would cost. It is hard to calculate, but we use just the IRS provides thrift store values. So very roughly, if you take all of these items, multiply it by the thrift store value, it's roughly $2,000. That's kind of an average that we use. This one probably would actually be a little bit more for a family of four, but on average $2,000. And then if we're moving it, if you assume it's all in one place, if you could find all this in one thrift store, then the movers are another at least $500. That's not accounting for if you have to get it from different places, that number goes up pretty quickly to move the stuff, because that's another huge barrier is the cost of transportation. So roughly $2,500 would be what would be necessary to do the work that we do. And of course, we do not charge any fees to our recipients or to our referral agencies in order to do this. And then I will share also the list of our referral agencies. So this is how we get in touch with our recipients. We don't directly. We don't have the capacity to have a direct relationship prior to someone getting housing. That's where a lot of other housing service providers in the coalition kind of help with people getting to having the home. And then in most cases, because these agencies have grown to trust Houses and Home Services over the years and understand the importance of serving this need and the people addressing this need with the people that they serve, then they send the information over to us and we take it from there. So this is all of the agencies that have sent a referral to Houses into Homes. This is since 2025. And then in the bold, if you can read it, I hope it's not too small, but our top 10, I just put the number of households so you can see. Iowa City School District is our biggest, was our first referral agent, and is still our biggest. The SFAs in each building send over information to us when they need to. But it gives you a good picture of, like, when I say this affects the aging population, this affects immigrants, this affects people coming out of incarceration, fleeing domestic violence, facing food insecurity, veterans. It's all of you can sort of see that from the list of just making inferences from the list of agencies who are sending people over to us. And then the one of the last things here I'll share that's kind of pretty critical here locally. So we have confirmation of the impact of this, the benefits that ripple out into the community from each individual family. From one of the most it would be pretty subjective to say the most. So I'll just say from my work with Furnished Together, it is one of the most comprehensive studies in the United States that exists for addressing furniture poverty. We were lucky enough very early on in Houses into Homes history to have a researcher at the University of Iowa who has since moved on to UC Santa Barbara, but who was conducting with a research team follow-up interviews with our recipients over the course of 5 years. So there's 5 different cohorts. They were calling recipients 2 to 3 months after receiving furniture. So this was allowing some time for things to settle a little bit. There are 324 different people, different recipients who were surveyed over those 5 years. And the data is pretty impactful, really. It's again, it's not a House into Homes commercial, but it's more of a furniture poverty commercial, because when you do this, when you address this need, you have from our most recent cohort here, the people sleeping better, 86%, better relationship with the child, 76%, 9 in 10 have lower personal stress, 96% enjoy their home more. And then a big one for us, just in this most recent cohort, we came up with a standard definition of a kitchen starter set. So things like pots and pans, baking sheets. And when we provide those of that kind of smaller subset, then we asked if you're able to prepare more nutritional meals, and 90% said that yes, they are. Um, and I'll just from the article that he wrote with this, not quite yet published. So this is, take it. You can ignore all this uh, if that is if you wish. But I just the one of the lines from this manuscript that I always share is um, that the tested models support the mechanism that leads to improvements in work productivity for adults, as well as children's stress and school performance. So this is there are the direct impacts related to the delivery, such as getting better sleep, but then the secondary effects, such as improved stress and well-being, and then even the tertiary, like have, feeling more belonging in the community, doing better at work, uh, students, kids doing better in school, which is all sort of, it kind of makes intuitive sense to me. Like when if you're sleeping on the floor, then of course everything else is harder in your life. Health is worse, all of the above, and this is just kind of gives us the confirmation that that is the case, in fact. Um, and then I'll just maybe the last thing I'll mention, two more things really. So one is that we are not doing this work alone, of course. So we have 1,000 volunteers every year. Most do the deliveries with us, so they get to know their neighbors and their community, and that kind of helps strengthen the ties that bind all of us, and kind of tills the soil for closer community. And then we also have nearly 2,000 of our neighbors each year donate basic items to us. So that's donate furniture, donate kitchen items. If I had more time, I something that I can't do a deep dive on today, but the environmental impact of taking 200 tons of furniture and recycling it, upcycling it, and having it recirculate in the community instead of supporting, the fast furniture industry and throwing things out, and landfill fills up, and then cheap furniture gets bought. Like it is quite an environmental impact also to upcycle all of these things. Um, so uh, as fellow community members in Johnson County, that's uh, I hope that you can take some pride in knowing that a top-notch furniture bank is addressing this critical need, because it's not us. I have almost nothing to do with it. I always tell people, like, uh, this was happening before I got there, and it will outlast me. And it's really all of you, all of us doing this. So really, we are among the best, and we're more resilient because of what we're already doing. And then I'll just share really quick, and then if there's time for questions, I'll take some. But some quick things that you could do to help. So a few easy things, if you're a housing service provider, or just people working in this area, basically just add furniture poverty to your lexicon of to your vocabulary, I guess. Like, ask about furniture needs when you're doing maybe client intake, or visiting with people. Ask if people have what they need furniture wise, and put those in your assessments. And then train your case managers, not just in like the referral pathway to houses into homes, to address that. Like, there's the logistics of how do you make a referral. Like, yes, train that, but also have people kind of aware of the impacts of not having all the basic essentials furniture wise, and then the impacts of addressing it, so that it then just kind of naturally becomes more and more part of the conversation. Um, those are some things that would be really big for us. And then I'll just, like, long-term systemic change that we are, as a coalition, as a national coalition of furniture banks, are working on, is better data, and especially tracking correlation of access to furniture and housing retention. Because I can tell you intuitively and anecdotally, but I can't tell you precisely in an academically rigorous way what that connection is, but we are working on it. So if there's a way, if you have mechanisms to collect that information, it would help a lot. Please reach out. And probably the most important thing is, do not throw out a 30-year-old dresser because it's old. It's made of real wood. by all means, get a new dresser, but please send the other one to us. We can make especially older furniture, newer furniture. The particle board is hard to deal with, but if it's an older piece of furniture, we can wood furniture, we can fix that up. And don't, if you have maybe a seldom used twin mattress in your basement or something, like, don't put it on the curb to be rained on. Please get in touch and make sure it gets to us one way or the other. And I guess maybe I'll stop there and see if there are any questions. But my information's on there. Just reach out at our email there, or get in touch. I'm not that hard to find, so you can reach out. And yeah, I guess I'll see you, Jessica, if there are questions. Otherwise, we can end it there.
Yeah, let's open it up for questions. I don't know if anybody on here has any. I know I always generate a few in my brain as I listen as well. If you do have a question, feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat. You're getting some good feedback in the chat already. I guess my question would be, how long is the wait list? Or is there currently a wait list for families?
Yes. Good question. So there is a wait list. There is almost always a wait list. What we ask people to share with recipients when they're sending a referral to houses into homes is that 4 to 6 weeks is kind of our standard. What we share generally, that's very much on the high end. We want to set expectations. We have shared it publicly in a few places, so I don't think this isn't something. We always want to be careful of having expectations too high, but we have, just as an FYI to the community, for the first 6 months of last year, 2025, last calendar year, our average wait time was 28 days. That's from the start of from when referral is sent over to delivery day, 28 point something. This year, that same time period, with 2 fewer deliveries, so basically at the same number of deliveries, and our average wait time from start to finish was 13 days. So that's less than half of the amount of time in terms of the wait, and that's not accounting for. We also launched a program that we call Express Beds, so that someone is, while they're waiting for furniture, let's say it did take 4 weeks, they're not spending that 4 weeks sleeping on the floor. If we can help it, we get beds only to people sooner than that. So you have beds first, and that average wait time is 6 days for people who are in the Express Bed program. But that's, rather than overcomplicated, that's right now 13 days. I would appreciate if you kept using 4 to 6 when you're talking with people, just to make sure that we don't have the wrong expectation set, because it is always subject to change. But that's we do have a wait list, but we are getting much better at moving through it more quickly. So yeah.
Perfect.
Well, this is
Art, yeah, Art,
oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I joined a little bit late, so Ian maybe you already went through this, but I'm going to give more of a plug to the organization, just because we've donated some furniture as the bank. We've come over and volunteered, and really organized group, and they put us to work. So we got there and did a little bit of cleaning up, a little bit of refurbishing, that kind of a thing, and then my kids were able to go out and actually help deliver to some different families in need. So again, I would just say great organization, and lots of other ways to help other than just donating furniture, which is also very important too. So I don't mean just donating, but anyway, great work. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Art. Thanks for the plug, and thanks for thanks for coming to volunteer. I think it was about a year ago. We're probably due, so I'll reach out. We'll get CDI in there again.
You're exactly right. There you go. We love doing it.
Any other?
Thanks for all you do. My name is Stacy, and just want to say, so I live in Iowa City, but work in the Quad Cities, and through the nonprofit housing provider that I work for, we work with Humble Dwellings out of Eldridge. So it's very similar. We make referrals for folks in our housing, and Humble Dwellings comes in and sets up the apartment. So it's just absolutely wonderful. They do an amazing job. One of the things I will say, actually, just something that I had seen this morning on the City of Iowa City government Facebook page. And maybe I missed this because I hopped off a little bit, but I noticed on the city page this morning they were talking about like furniture dumped at the curb and giving kind of a shout out to the what is it, the Instagram, the like free curb alert
Curb
Instagram
alert, yeah.
page. But I thought they should also or could also maybe be giving you guys a shout out. So I'm not sure like how much I would say you're putting the word out there or people know about
Hmm.
you. Because maybe, even partnering with the city just to say like, hey, we could take these donations as well. I'm not
Hmm.
sure if do people just need to drop off or do you do pickups? Like if someone would have a
Yeah, yeah.
piece of furniture?
So we do both. We are out picking up furniture this time of year, at least 4 times, sometimes 5 times a week, generally during the week, although we sometimes have weekend pickup routes. So yes, we do have, we will go out and pick up in our truck. And it's, of course, if someone can get it to us, we're in Coralville. I didn't mention at the top,
Hmm.
I maybe should have, for those who don't know, we're right in the middle of Coralville, basically right on the strip across from Dunkin' Donuts, if you know where that is, which I know where that is. I've known where that was since 2 years before it was built. Very excited about that. But that's we're right in the middle of Coralville, so you can bring stuff. We have drop-off hours posted on our website that we ask if people can stick to that. It helps just for staffing. That's when we know we have staff there. Sometimes we're all out on deliveries or something. So, um, and then yes, we do work with the city quite a bit. The city just recently had an event called the donation drive-through where they were asking people to
Hmm.
bring donatable items through, and we were one of there was maybe 5 or 6 other agencies. There was Habitat was there, Table to Table for food stuff, Antelope Lending Library, Crowded Closet. So there were a lot of people there. The city does a really good job, in my opinion, of helping to make sure things that are usable get
Hmm.
reused rather than
Yeah.
get thrown away. So yeah, we are working with it. It's always we do not. People often ask the question like, "Do you guys just drive around and pick stuff off of curbs?" And we do not. We have found that to be wildly inefficient because you don't. But you go out to get something and someone else has already got it. That curb alert is great, but then sometimes it's like, oh, someone already came and grabbed it. Which
Hmm.
is, I mean, truly, that is a benefit. That is a blessing to the community. Like I don't. That is if it's going to be used. Then that's the important thing, really. So yeah,
Yeah.
we
No,
are always working on
yeah.
getting the word out.
Yeah, thanks for all you do. Yeah, I live in the Catskill neighborhood, so I was able to tour the houses that you had done here. So, yeah, thank you for everything. It just absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'd seen this post this morning. I'm like, oh gosh, I knew I was getting on this meeting and just wanted to bring that up. It's like, oh, they could give you guys a
Hmm.
shout out as well. So, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Ian, you didn't even talk about your youth academy. You want to
Oh,
give a shout out about that program that you also have that I helped teach earlier this week?
yeah, yeah. I didn't. Oh yeah, sorry, Jessica. I didn't give you a shout out. That was yeah. So we have a volunteer academy that we host every summer. We've done it during the school year. A little bit different formats we've tried out, but it's a think of it like a summer camp, I guess. We have 2 different cohorts, and it's this week. It's just one week. We have 12 students in each class, morning and afternoon, and they come and do volunteer work for part of the time, and then hear from community leaders about different uh, whether it's social justice issues, housing. Jessica came and talked just kind of basically like giving the local high school students a look into the world of affordable housing and what that even means, like some basic information for that age group. Yeah, they're over at Valor Point right now. In fact, I have the higher agency bus in my driveway. I don't ever work from home anymore. This was my old COVID era office, but I drove over here because the students are over there finishing up setting up at over at Hollywood Boulevard, and as their kind of final project, they made some tables this week that they brought there, and then they delivered a bunch of other furniture, and they're setting all those units up right now. So yeah, Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for coming to teach the students. And yes, the Volunteer Academy is very near and dear to my heart. Um, so
Yeah, it's a great program for area high school students to get involved, learn about different agencies that partner. And you mentioned a great partnership, Valor Point, right? That was Board of
mhm,
Supervisors, Johnson County purchasing some townhomes that's been conveyed over to the city's housing authority to be able to house veterans and keep them close and involved with our VA system. And then we have Houses into Homes providing furniture. So it's just really a great demonstration project for all of the collaborators and partners that the coalition uses. So thank you for doing that and
yeah.
for driving those high school students around and making
Mhm.
tables and all of that. So thank you.
Mhm. Of course.
And with that, I do have to also always say thank you to our sponsors, right? We have a lot of great community partners that are either related or not related to housing that really support our mission here, that can then also support the mission of other agencies that we partner with that do those direct services. So always giving a shout out to our sponsors that show up and are committed and give funds to create programming that we do here at the coalition. I don't know. I typed August on here and about hurt my soul that the summer is almost over and that will be like when kiddos are back in school. But yes, we host another upcoming monthly community meeting, fourth Friday of every month. Same Zoom link, same time. Different presenter though. This was Ian Shot at Houses into Homes, and we greatly appreciate you being here today, Ian. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you
You're welcome.
are a member or not a member, feel free to sign up for our emails. This is how you do learn about great opportunities from our partners as well, and then our social media. And of course, we are a membership-based organization. Ian's an individual member, along with Houses into Homes being an organizational member. Most of you on here are as well. It's just $5 a month for a minimal membership at the Affordable Housing Coalition, and it really does support some of these great opportunities that we are able to provide to the community. So if you would like to get involved, the link is there. And I did put in the chat earlier, right, for our couple of events coming up. I think I did that. I'm not going to touch the computers. I feel like I'm going to mess it up. But I'm sure it's there for you fine folks. Ian, thank you again. Appreciate you being here and all you do over at Houses into Homes and volunteering for our community. Thank everybody else for coming today on a Friday afternoon. We're almost to the weekend. Only a few more hours, my friends. We got this. All right. Thank you all. Be safe, be well, and have a fun weekend.